It's the Dork Podcast. It's the Dork Podcast. Rich Keefe. It's the Dork Podcast. Hashtag. It's the hashtag Dork Podcast.
Hey, this is Rich Keefe from such podcast as hashtag Dork. I watched a movie called Batman and Harley Quinn, and as you can tell by my voice, it made me sick. No, this is maybe like an allergy, although I don't even really get allergies. Perhaps a common cold, which I need to get over soon because it's for the birds. But Batman and Harley Quinn is a DC animated movie that was released last month. It is 1 hour and 14 minutes. First thing I would say is most DC animated movies are very good. Recently they've run into a patch of poor to terrible ones, including this one. So here are spoilers ahead for this giant letdown. First thing you're going to notice is that the voices are bad. And if the voices are bad in an animated movie, that's not good. I mean, obviously there's the exception of Kevin Conroy as Batman, who was perfect, but the rest of them are all terrible, especially Harley Quinn and Nightwing, who are two of the other main characters in the movie. Here's the plot. Batman and Nightwing need Harley Quinn to help them take down Poison Ivy and Floronic Man. That's right, Batman and Nightwing need help to stop Poison Ivy and Floronic Man. I'm all for a deep dive in comic villains, but come on, Floronic Man? Anyway, their plan is obviously, the villain's plan is to turn everybody into plant people. Like the whole world into the plant people. So the two villains are first seen stealing information about Alec Holland, who we all know is Swamp Thing. And Batman and Nightwing, they investigate, they realize they need to follow up with some known associates of Ivy. So they go after Harley Quinn and... well, no, just Harley Quinn. It's the only person they go after. Nightwing is the one to go after her. He finds her working at a restaurant called Super Babes, where all the waitresses there are dressed up as superhero or supervillain women, including Harley Quinn, who is dressed up as Harley Quinn. Now, I couldn't tell if I liked this or hated it at first, and then Nightwing's like looking through the the window there, and he sees Harley Quinn toss a guy who tried, grabbing her butt. And Nightwing says, "Oh, that's gotta be her." And I was like, yeah, I know, I hate this. Nightwing then follows Harley to her apartment. Then they have a fight in the street. Harley ends up getting the better of him, and she ties him up in her bed. Nightwing comes to, and he's talking to her. He criticizes her for not using her medical license anymore, which I would assume would no longer be legit after she's been, in Arkham Asylum for so long, and known associate of the Joker. So I don't know why Nightwing's like, hey, how come you're not a doctor anymore? Shouldn't you know why she's not a doctor anymore? And then Harley Quinn shows him a bunch of these offer letters that she's gotten from all these different places, basically asking her to be in pornos. So she says something like, to Nightwing, she's like, you say I'm a criminal, but they say I'm a whore. Remember, the voices are terrible in this. So Harley's changing clothes in front of Nightwing, who's still tied up on the bed, and Harley Quinn looks over and sees that Nightwing has a boner. So she then has sex with him. Remember that thing when she was talking about the whore? Anyway, Batman finds them the next morning. He makes a couple of comments, like okay jokes, nothing great. Harley says something to Nightwing too, like, hey, maybe I'll call you when I'm out of batteries. Which is clearly a vibrator joke. So anyway, you got these three, Batman, Nightwing, Harley Quinn. They're now unlikely allies. They're traveling in the Batmobile on their way to, go get some more leads to find out where Poison Ivy is. Harley Quinn at one point says she's had spicy wings and needs to pull over and go to the bathroom. She's sitting in the backseat of the Batmobile, and Batman's like, no, we're going. So Harley just rips a super loud fart. And Batman refuses to pull over. And then she lets out like a real wet fart. And that apparently got to him and he had to pull over. Now, I like fart jokes. I really do. They're some of my favorite. I think you either do or you don't. And I do. Adam Sandler's Hypnotist, that bit that he did on one of his CDs or tapes, whatever, was incredible with Kevin Nealon. Nutty Professor had that dinner scene with all the farts. I loved that. This one, I didn't care for. Maybe I'm sexist. I don't know. Because it's a hot lady doing the farting. I don't know. Not for me. Anyway, they go to a bar. Again, I guess looking for tips on where Poison Ivy might be. And Harley ends up singing karaoke and she sings a Blondie song, Hanging on the Telephone, and she's like shaking her boobs around, and right to the crowd. She's like grinding up and down by herself. She's up on stage by herself. She's like grinding up and down. At one point, she's bent over in like this kind of interesting position, and the way she's holding the microphone. All right, well, I know you guys are a family podcast. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. Just you can use your imagination. So then we get a Batman, Nightwing, Harley Quinn versus Poison Ivy and Floronic Man fight. The villains get the upper hand there. They decide to go to Louisiana, which is the birthplace of Swamp Thing. Floronic Man has like a magic yam. Yeah. Batman decides to go to Louisiana as well, of course. He's a very good detective. Harley wants to go with Batman, but Batman's like, hey, I don't know if I can trust you, even though they've been working together this whole time. But then they all end up going down to Louisiana. Wait a minute. Harley Quinn double crosses them. No, just kidding. She's back on their side. No, we definitely would not have seen that coming. So the fight continues. Harley Quinn's trying to break through to Poison Ivy, who is her friend. Harley Quinn knows to get what she wants, she just has to cry. So she wipes her makeup off her face and cries. And Poison Ivy's like, oh yeah, what was I doing? But now Floronic Man is like kicking ass. And he's out there. He's got the upper hand. Maybe it was the yams. I don't know. But he's doing really well against everybody. And then you know what? You know who saves the day? You guessed it. Swamp Thing. Yeah, Swamp Thing. He pops out of the water. He's enormous. But then you think he's going to just take over. And he says something to the effect of, I'm not here to judge. And then he goes back in the water. Okay, so Batman, Harley Quinn, and by the way, Swamp Thing wasn't even in the goddamn movie at all. I mean, they reference him, but he was never in it. Anyway, fine. Batman, Harley Quinn, and Nightwing are now like, oh, what are we going to do? And Harley Quinn says something like, oh, look at him, Floronic Man. He's covered in leaves. Anyone got a match? So then Batman and Nightwing kiss her on the cheek at the same time, and then the movie ends. Did Floronic Man burn? Did he kill all three of them painfully? Did he turn them into plant people? Who knows? Oh, there's also an end credits scene in this? Yeah, it's like a Harley Quinn reality show called Ask Dr. Quinn. Yeah, it was okay. I don't know. I don't know who this movie was for, necessarily. Like, I don't know what the target audience was. Because I feel like if you're going to do like an R rating, and I don't think it was, but if you're going to do like an R rating, go for it. Go get after it. Go nuts. Like Deadpool, like Logan, they didn't do that, but they were towing that line. They had the sex scene. Nightwing has a boner, for heaven's sake. I think Harley Quinn calls him a douchebag at one point. I mean, that's not R-rating stuff, but like they're kind of teetering on the line there. So I don't know. Hopefully this. The other thing that bothered me. I'm sorry, the whole thing bothered me, I guess. But Batman, greatest character maybe of all time. Harley Quinn, also an incredible character. And then you pair them together in a movie, and then this is what you get. So, don't watch it. Hopefully I saved you an hour and 14 minutes, and maybe you can spend that hour and 14 minutes listening to the next episode of #Dork. Shameless plug, yes, but maybe that's how you'll spend your time. So, thanks for listening to this.
The #Dork Podcast.